Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish.
And I'm Jada McLeod. So how are you doing this morning, Naomi?
I'm doing well. Just off of the weekend. It was a very restful weekend. Surprisingly, I actually did not have any type of swimming or activity this weekend. So,
yes. So you had a little bit more rest than usual.
Definitely. So I'm out relatively early this morning, and I'm excited for this first conversation, especially. It's very similar to the one we had when, I think it was about 2 months ago, a month ago, with Mr. Lumpkin, Martin Lumpkin, and on the SCA results. So
for this one, just recently, the results of the 2025 CAPE and CSEC examinations were released. It's a moment that defines the academic journey of thousands of our students across the country. Joining us this morning to sort of unpack the results and kind of give us an understanding of what they mean for the way forward in education in Trinidad and Tobago is Mr. Walter Stewart, President of the National Parent-Teacher Association. Mr. Stewart, thank you and welcome to AM Prime.
My pleasure. Good morning, Naomi and Jada. Good to be here. Penultimate week of Java. Penultimate week for the July-August vacation. After next week, we go back to school.
You know, let me just plug this in. Java, to me when I hear Java, I hear coffee.
Oh, July-August vacation.
Yeah, I remember because I was used to say summer vacation, and my aunt used to get so annoyed at me. She was like, no, this is not America.
Thank you.
It's July-August vacation. I just wanted to point that out because we're so stuck on that.
I know,
but it's really not summer. We don't have summer here, you know? But yes, so getting into the conversation, Mr. Stewart, what is your overall reaction to the release of this year's CAPE and CSEC results?
When one looks at the results, there has been significant improvement in our results regionally and nationally, and of course, this is something for us to celebrate. I want to, before I go into the results though, look at the cohort of students who have done the exams this year. Remember 2020, September 2020, we're in the throes of a global pandemic.
Yes.
And those students registered in school in September and did not come out of physical school until April 2022. Unprecedented. They were behind the screens, devices, etc., and they had to navigate, teachers as well as students. And when we see the results this year of the CSEC students, we are really, really overwhelmed and say thank God that they have done so well. 41% regionally last year, 2024, acquired 5 subjects, including maths and English. And we consider those key benchmark subjects because you could only matriculate into tertiary or get gainful employment if you acquire 5 subjects, English. This year, that went to 44% regionally. Locally, nationally, Trinidad and Tobago, we moved from 45% in 2024 to 51%. Fantastic.
Wow,
even above the regional average. We have done extremely well, and we are grateful, and we are really proud of our students this year.
Congratulations to our students.
Indeed.
Yes. What factors do you think most influence that increase in results?
Listen, and the National Council of PTA is apolitical, so we respect the government in office. But the results we see here in 2025, we must give some credence and of course commendations to Dr. Nian Gasbidoli and her team who put in place a series of initiatives in order to ensure that the results we see today are as a result of those initiatives. I look at the professional development in almost all our districts. In all our districts in Trinidad and Tobago, there was special emphasis placed on professional development for our teachers. So you sharpen the edges of our teachers and educators to ensure that they can now have the performance as they're having. The Student Support Services Division as well, called SSSD, did a tremendous job in working with our teachers, working with our students to ensure that those who were somewhat in the socioeconomic decline were able to, in spite of their challenges, rise above that. And again, I must give commendations to Dr. Nian Gasbidoli and her team at the ministry for a fantastic job. Well done.
Have you heard of any responses from the parents associated with
oh yeah,
students?
certainly. Even within my own executive, some of my parents in the executive, their students or their children have done the exams and they have done extremely well. Some of them in all ones for 8 subjects.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, and you know, again, they are rejoicing, they are glad, they are proud of their children, And of course, we hope that we can only do better 26 and beyond.
As we get into the results, were there any particular subject areas where you would have realized students particularly excelled in or did really, really well in?
Actually, the reports, and of course, we still have to get the analysis from our ministry to be able to deep dive in terms of Trinidad and Tobago. But regionally, there have been extreme good results in English A, for example. Actually, English A moved from 75% to 80%. It's probably the largest increase in our subject areas regionally. And I'm told that in French, for example, French regionally in the Cape is 100%. I don't know how they did that.
Wow.
I don't know how they did that.
Wow.
That's only one of, I think there were 6 subjects in particular at Cape. Unit 2, that 100% passes throughout the region I'm speaking about, and this is tremendous.
A bunch of French speakers.
You bet, you
Okay.
bet. Hats off to the French teachers.
Yeah, that's incredibly hopeful. It inspires a lot of hope. But just to kind of flip the coin a little bit, what about the subjects where students would have struggled? Because I know when people hear mathematics, they go, they don't like it at all. So can you tell us more about that?
Mathematics in particular, right? Well, there needs to be, regionally, there needs to be a lot of work in mathematics. Numeracy has to start from the get-go, from age 4, 5, 6 foundation. So that what we are recommending the National Council of PTA is more or less specialist teachers at the foundation level. So if you have somebody who is aced, a czar in mathematics, a teacher, and you can drill into that student the importance and relevance of mathematics from age 4. There's no way that come CSEC or even CAPE that student is not going to do well. So we want to place emphasis with the ministry on let's start from the foundation, from ECCE level, let's start with that, primary, and you're building on it consistently all the time until the child gets to secondary level.
Is that something you think could possibly be perfectly instituted in our system? Like if you could go to Parliament and...
I think so. And of course, we are in constant conversation with the ministry through Dr. Michael Dowlat, the minister. And it is something that we want to put on the table very early in the new school academic year. And let's at least give this a try and see how that works. Yeah?
So...
No,
Sure.
Before we move on too far, the things that were put in place with the previous government and Dr. Nayan Gasbidali, are those things being followed through on with this current government and for future, let's say CSEC next year, following year?
Well, I see no reason, if it is working, why you'd want to not go through with it. But of course, that is subject to the politics that we have to take. For example, in 2022, the government then put in place focus schools, 80 primary schools and 26 secondary schools, which they felt needed extra attention. They were poor results, poor performances, and they were also indiscipline issues at those schools. So they placed focus and emphasis on those particular schools. And those schools today, both at the SEA level and the CSEC level, continue to increase their performance and continue to do extremely well. So that initiative in particular, I want to highlight to the present government. You've got to continue to build on that, on those focus schools, schools of focus.
Do we see any difference in performance between, say, more urban and rural schools? I know we haven't gotten the results locally as yet, but if you were to take a look back at years prior, is there any differences? Are there any differences?
Well, yes and no. Last year, for example, CSEC CXC normally highlights the top 10 in our CSEC and CAPE subjects. Exactly. You'll be amazed to see how many government secondary schools, rural, are among the top 10, both in Trinidad and in Tobago. So yes, to answer your question, there has been. And of course, we are hoping, the results have not been out as yet, those top 10. We are hoping as well that even more schools, rural, public in particular, may place emphasis on that, can also excel and come on the top 10 schools. And this is regionally I'm speaking about, regional.
What do you think contributes to the stereotype that certain schools get? For example, when CSEC results, time for CSEC results to come out, everybody thinks that school's going to do well and that school's going to do badly, and then it kind of flips when the results actually come out. What do you think that is?
This is my personal view. This is not the view of the National Council of PTA. But you know that they are board schools. In other words, they are run by a board of directors. And they are able to, let me use a local, the word micromanage, as it were. So they follow the educators and ensure that they follow the curriculum and deliver the curriculum in such a way that they get the results and the harvest that they are reaping come results. So that if we are able to now move that board of director, access or what they do in order to get those results into the public sector, this public secondary schools, we could only hope that we get the same kinds of results. So it really speaks to leadership now and the prowess of our leaders in terms of dealing with issues at the school level. Yeah.
So I don't want to stick on this too long because I want to move on to the workforce.
Right.
So when it comes to the results thus far, does it suggest that our students are truly, like really being prepared for what's out there?
Right.
Not necessarily, not even tertiary education. Let's say going into work after
Correct.
is it Form 6?
Right, certainly.
Are students properly prepared to go out into the world of work?
Well, we hope. I mean, because education is really not about, as you taking up a place in society, but really about bringing value to your lifestyle as well. So if you go through, 5 years or 7 years at the primary level and 5 years, 7 years at the secondary level, primary and secondary, and you are working towards building that individual to patriotic citizen, to productive citizen, respectful, etc., and all those values that we're going to inculcate, it is more than just a certificate at the end of the day. That person is able to make a meaningful contribution to society, and this is what we need at this point in time.
Then my question is, do you think we place enough emphasis on skills training and entrepreneurship? These are things traits that would encourage a young individual who just came out of school to, have a place in the world.
And I use this analogy all the time, and I'm looking at dollars and cents here. I had a plumber who came to my house recently and didn't spend more than 10 minutes and charged me $300. That person even earns more than the Prime Minister. Even 10 minutes, you can earn $300. Multiply that per day, an 8-hour workday.
Yeah.
So that yes, there needs to be a holistic development of the child, both academic and technical as well. So when you come out, besides your certificate in academia, you can also hold a certificate in plumbing, electrical, whatever the case might be. And we are hoping with the emphasis now on Dr. Michael Dowlatt's emphasis on TVET, because he's now trying to employ, the ministry is trying to employ 100 TVET teachers for this academic year. With that emphasis and the focus on technical vocation, we should hope to get the ideal child, not to mention sports, culture as well, coming into the mix as well too.
Values is also very important. Because character takes you far in life, It's not just about what certificate you have, but being able to have manners and be respectful. Are schools necessarily teaching that? Because I came from a school that was one of those board schools, right?
Okay.
They made a note to make sure that we had etiquette training.
Good.
That was something that they wanted to teach us.
Right.
So even if you came into the school and you didn't know what manners were, you learn manners.
Listen, in my time, because I'm sure I'm far older than both of you, we had civics.
Yes.
And civics is what taught you ethics, etiquette, good mannerisms, etc. And we do need to get back to those days as well. When we can teach our students, our children, those values as well.
Let's not forget that as a society.
Certainly.
Okay, so going now into new technology.
Right.
Even, and again, not just in not just in secondary education, but also the workforce.
Good.
First of all, let's get your personal view on the excitement of artificial intelligence. What do you think?
That's a good question. Because I believe in critical thinking and problem solving.
Yes.
And I think one of the negatives on AI is the lack of the ability to critical think and to problem solve. Because everything is there for you on a platter, as it were. AI, though, however, makes it flexible. And it's 24/7. In other words, the AI teacher is always there. You have a problem, a math problem, an English problem, you go to, it's always there and it's consistent. You are a slow learner, or you are an adept learner, fast learner, it's there for you. So just as there are pros, there are also cons with AI.
how can we teach students to master or have some sort of mastery of AI while also having critical thinking skills? What questions should they ask the AI to help them, to not just give them the answer, but to help them think through to get to a solution?
Well, that's what exactly I think you just said there. How could I think through now this issue AI by problem solving or by being able to think outside the box as well? So those questions can be generated as well from AI and help us to broaden our vision, to broaden our thinking skills, because we do need that.
Do you think we have the capability of introducing artificial intelligence in that way in the near future?
Well, I know that even CXC is speaking very strongly about that. So even if we don't be forced into having to do it because it is now part of the requirement, as it were. So once that is part of the requirement, certainly the mechanisms will be put in place in order to ensure that we can achieve such.
It's interesting. I think a major part of including or getting students accustomed to the responsible use of artificial intelligence is key. And do you think or what role do you think the NPTA should play in guiding that or reaching to that point where students use AI responsibly? Because whether we like it or not, they're using it and they will use it. Even if I remember in my later years in school, we were told, not to use AI or not to use, well, it wasn't AI, it wasn't, but it was, we were told to use your book. The textbooks are there, use your textbooks, right? And especially in my time, it was like Wikipedia. That was like our AI. ChatGPT. That was our ChatGPT.
Right.
But we were told not to use that. Use your textbooks.
Right.
But now things are a lot different, and it's there. You questions. You ask a question, and you get the answer. Right. So whether we like it or not, they're gonna use it, and. How can we,
what is the NPTA?
I think what we want to be able to advise our students, our children, is the responsible use of AI, certainly. And if we're able to guide them as the responsible use, the right use of AI, and inculcate that into them from the get-go, from day one.
What guidelines would you suggest? Like if you just had to think off the top of your head, how would you structure your guidelines for this?
Listen, I have 5 grandchildren, and of course, the age now they are into the devices, so that they take the device and they use the device, and of course, we monitor what they are looking at, and of course, because they are children, they are curious, so they go into all different.
Every application.
Exactly. So because you're monitoring them and you're seeing what they are doing, you can guide them. No, it's not what we want you to look at, but we rather you look at Paw Patrol, for example. You know what I'm saying? So the same could apply to the secondary school student, the primary school student, etc. The monitoring and the right use and responsible use of the particular application.
Because I even want to kind of throw back a little bit to when I had just graduated and gone into just a big school, secondary school, when they gave us laptops in that particular government. And they had certain applications you weren't allowed to go on. Right? So if you were a good student like me, you didn't try to bypass it. But I remember sitting down in class sometime or after class, and students were all over YouTube and all these things, and you weren't supposed to be able to get onto those things. So the idea was there, and I applaud the government at that time for that. The idea was there to block certain things, but as you said, the monitoring, there was no consistent monitoring, because the teachers couldn't keep up. Let's be very, very honest.
Definitely.
It was hard for them to keep up. But we need a certain level of monitoring, because while it was a great idea, when it comes to AI and the smartness, the intelligence of these new students, they're gonna.
It's not even now. It's back then, because even when I got into secondary school, I also got laptops.
Good.
And it was certain things were blocked. But students, everybody within the first month, bypassed all the security measures. Right. we were downloading games.
Yeah.
Right,
We were
right,
using the
right.
laptops, not
Yeah.
even for study. It was more for like on a lunchtime, everybody's in the
Yeah.
classroom
Fun. Yeah,
playing
exactly.
games on their laptops.
And that,
Sorry, no, it's coincidental you were mentioning this because, come September 8th, our 4-month students are getting laptops.
Yeah.
So I hope and I'm praying that there can be regulations put in
Yeah.
place early so that we don't have the same situation taking place
yes,
as in your time.
as well as, what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of consequence for the students.
As
Because
well.
we didn't have consequences. We
Correct,
just had,
correct.
well, mommy and daddy might see me playing
Yeah.
whatever game, whatever.
Right. I
Okay,
know.
very much. So some sort of consequences to almost scare the students into
Yes,
doing what's right.
certainly.
Or knowing, kind of jumping ahead of the game, knowing that students are going to use it for games
Right.
and putting some sort of games on there that are actually
Restrictions, yeah.
academically inclined games.
Well,
putting
correct.
that
Yeah,
on the device.
Correct. Yeah, certainly. And that's a good warning, and I'm hoping that the Ministry of Education is listening and viewing it so that they can take a hint, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that restrictions are in place early in the game to prevent and avoid.
Yeah. Because when you see things like this, you wonder now, it goes back to the AI conversation.
That's right.
If you want to regulate AI or teach the responsible use of AI, there has to be something in place where, okay, you use AI to study,
Right.
but then when it comes down to your exam,
Yes.
this is where you put to the real test because, and I'll probably sell myself on here, there was a point in time in my tertiary education where I used AI for an assignment,
Good.
and when I got tested on it, I could not answer anything.
Oh no.
Because I didn't think we were going to get tested on
Exactly,
it, and I
yeah.
did it to finish my assignments. I,
know, yeah,
passed
yeah.
my assignments. but
Plagiarism,
then-
was it?
No. I don't plagiarize,
okay,
but
okay.
it was a quick
Right,
assignment, very
yeah.
quick, and
Yeah.
and
But in the exam, you couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it because I didn't study it.
Correct,
I
correct.
just you know.
Yeah.
And that was my fear when I heard about the CSEC and CAPE results coming out, because I know that if in tertiary education, you're more than tempted to utilize AI in a way that,
Yes.
isn't the most
Certainly.
proper.
That's right.
CAPE students are going to use it as well. Because I was wondering if when they got tested, if the same applied there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting to find out. Yeah, it would be interesting to find out.
Because especially when I spoke to my cousins and friends or those people who were doing the exams, sitting the exams, they were so scared, like piss scared. And I was
Yeah.
wondering why. Is it that because
Exactly.
you haven't been preparing or you haven't been preparing correctly?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm surprised to hear the results.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we're hoping that, as I said, the results could only improve as we, progress into next year
Yeah.
as well.
Because we have to use artificial
Oh,
intelligence.
certainly.
It needs to, or some sort of technology.
Yeah.
Because the thing sometimes with us is that we employ these things, we put those things in place, and then we
Yeah.
don't maintain
Right.
to keep it up for the future
Consistency.
generations.
Correct.
Consistency is
Yeah.
lacking.
Yeah, certainly.
So we have people in places of power that can institute really nice initiatives.
Yeah.
But what happens when they leave?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
There's a whole ministry now actually, and I'm
Yes, there is.
and Jada and I actually spoke about this. We haven't been hearing anything from this ministry
That's right,
at
that's
all.
right, that's right.
And I think, and I honestly, it's disappointing.
Well, the initiative is what is laudable, but of course, as you were saying, the execution of the ministry's role and function is what is in question. And yes, I agree with you that 4 months or so after, we need to see something positive coming out of that ministry.
Once the new school term begins,
Certainly.
we would love to hear something throughout the term and as to what exactly is the ministry doing.
Yes, certainly.
But-
I mean, they're
So
working, but we would like to see more than just photo ops.
Right,
That's
exactly.
Place.
So,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, okay, if you could set 3 national priorities in education based on the results that you would have received regionally thus far, what would they be?
And let me go back to the UNC's manifesto, if I may,
Yeah.
which is now government policy, and use that as the yardstick to answer your question. Focus and emphasis on the children, the child, the student. Focus and emphasis on the parent. And focus and emphasis on the process of education. If we can deal with these 3 issues on a micro and macro level, we are all done, really. And we can only have excellence in our results going forward.
Okay, let's zoom in on the parents there. I don't feel
Right,
like we spent
certainly.
enough time on
Certainly.
the parents. What do you think parents feel when they have to send their precious
Yes,
precious ones,
gems, yes.
precious gems, opt to do an exam that they're obviously very scared for.
Right.
So first of all, how do you think they feel, and what do you think is the role of parents in helping with that preparation?
Listen, parents have a very critical role to play in the education of their children. As a matter of fact, the PTA's motto is Home and School United for the good of the child. We play an integral role in helping our children to be able to navigate this educational journey. And one of the things that we want to emphasize is the parent has to have a working knowledge of the curriculum. It's the only way that we can follow what the child is doing at the school.
Yes.
When we met with the minister quite recently, as a matter of fact, we are supposed to meet with the director of curriculum at the Ministry of Education so that we can together, collaboratively, go through the curriculum from ECCA level all the way up to secondary school and get a full appreciation and understanding of what entails in the curriculum. How else could we help our children? So if we are able to reinforce what the child is doing in the day at home, it is going to be down to better, far more effective results.
You know, that's interesting because I always wondered how would, if your parents would understand or know what the curriculum is. And
Right.
I don't think parents ever did.
I know, and of course, it's about time that we do.
yes.
And I would even go deeper or further to say the teachers' lesson plan as well. You know, the teachers have their lesson plan, month 1, month 2, month 3. If we can understand what you're going to do, miss, in September, what you're going to do in October, miss, what you're going to do, it's going to be a world of difference to me as a father, a grandfather.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure to many other fathers and mothers out there who are willing to get the information and to work along closely with their children based upon the lesson plan and the curriculum.
Because when they open the child's book, they're able to say, okay, well, we're focusing on phonetics now. So
Correct.
they know,
Exactly.
even if they don't use the textbook, whatever external resources they use, they can focus it to phonetics. There are a lot of parents who'd want to be able to do something
Of
like
course,
that. But
yeah,
when it says your
certainly.
curriculum, say you're doing X, Y, and Z, but the teacher's lesson plan is A, B, and C.
That's right.
The parents, they're like,
Okay.
W, X, Y, Z?
Exactly.
Like, what
Almost
do we
lost,
do?
huh? Almost lost. Yeah, they are. So it's really that appreciation of the curriculum and the delivery of the curriculum. We being able to understand it is going to help in the long run.
So based on that, I want to pivot the conversation a bit in helping us now understand the role and the function of the NPTA.
Great.
Exactly.
Good. Listen, you know the word stakeholder. We are the main stakeholders in education. I tell you why. We are the ones who produce the students, the children. If there were no students in the education system, what is the minister going to do? His technocrats, the educators, school supervisors, principals, teachers. So that because we play this main role, and I use the word forcibly, because we play this main role, we want to ensure that we have a seat at the table so that policy, the parent, infrastructure, the parent, teaching and learning, the parent. Every facet of education should involve a parent because ultimately we are the main stakeholder in education.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So we actually have a video to play, so I think we can play that now and then we can discuss further once afterward.
why your school needs a PTA?
Listen, when I joined the PTA 30 years ago, my elder daughter is 35 years old, it was only about fundraising. That to me was the only sole factor that a PTA was necessary and needed for. Not what we are seeing there, the 8 reasons. And I want to zero in on when you are involved in PTA, your child is bound to succeed, duty bound. Because the child understands that mommy and daddy are placing this great emphasis and attention on me. And the least I could do is to give them.
Yeah, hard work.
Exactly so. I want to encourage our parents today If you want to see your child succeed, and this is not only for Trinidad and Tobago or even in the region, but internationally, if you want to see your child succeed, get involved in the Parent-Teacher Association at your school as of now. And you will see the results, you will see the tangible results of your charge once you are involved in the child's educational life.
Are you guys involved in every school, board and government, fully government, board schools, private schools?
Parent-Teacher Associations? Yeah, listen, every learning institution, even we visited MyLAT last year, MyLAT, and we introduced that into the MyLAT component because it is so important. Every learning institution must have a parental backing behind them via the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association. ECCE, primary, secondary, and I always give the joke, even at tertiary as well, if possible.
I would love that.
Exactly. Support.
I would love that.
Yes,
so how do parents become involved? What are the steps that they need to take?
Well, we have what is called regional PTAs in all our 8 education districts or regions. We have the list of all the schools. And whilst we would want to target the schools, if at all we are unable to target all the schools, you can reach out to us, nptatnt@gmail.com. My personal number, 682-6832. We'll be more than happy to come to you at your location in your space and be able to tutor you on the values, importance, relevance of parent-teacher associations.
So what is the biggest difference you've observed in schools that have a strong PTA presence versus those that don't?
The support, because we have a strong voice when there's a PTA. There are some things that the principal cannot advocate for, or the teachers, even through tutor, could advocate for. But once there is a PTA, we have the voice to be able to advocate for the needs of that particular school. Multiply that by, there are about 800 plus schools in Trinidad and Tobago. Multiply that 800 times. If there were 800 PTAs throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we can speak with one voice and be able to get the attention of the powers that be, fix this, fix that, in the interest of the student. Exactly, yeah, certainly, yeah.
You mentioned something before, parents who join the PTA, it would do well for their child,
Yes,
right, academically and their progress in the school. Now, what about the parents who say don't have the time, because there are some parents who are so busy, their schedule just does not accommodate for them being active in a PTA. And I'm saying this because I remember when I was in school, there were students whose parents were very active in the PTA.
Right.
And my parents were never, because of just timing, right? Schedule. And I saw for myself, even as a student, how different the relationship was, the lives were, and the students whose parents were involved in the PTA, they seemed to be more
aggressive,
in the school, and I couldn't understand, even now, as you said that, it makes sense thinking back on it, but I still can't understand exactly what made that the student progress so much better or different than the other students whose parents were not as active in the PTA, and for reasons that not just because they didn't want to.
You've seen something? Okay, let me just give you a childish experience. My daughter, because she knew daddy was the PTA president, and anything, the principal could jump on the phone and get daddy and complain about her, she was number one. Because you see, the child knows that the relationship you have by virtue of being a PTA member with the school's administration is going to help that child to be able to walk a straight line. So if only for that, and I'm using this as a puerile example, if only for that is why the importance of the parent in the PTA of the school. But I want to just segue a bit in terms of, we are trying to put law in place where we can now have the time off for parents to attend PTA meetings, so that no longer could they say, my work doesn't allow me, or I'm prohibited. No, we are trying to see whether or not we can have legal counsel on this and be able to go to Parliament and have, it's about 1 hour per month or 1 hour per term even, that we want to have because it is so important for education that the parents are involved, give me at least 1 hour per term to attend my PTA meeting. As well as, because we are now hybrid, you can now do it online as well. you can be in the comfort of your own office and still be at the PTA meeting.
And
Yeah.
still know what's going on
Exactly.
in your child's
Certainly.
education. And
Certainly.
I also wanted to add to what Naomi was saying. I think there's a certain level of confidence with knowing that, you know, even though, yes, your principal can get daddy on your phone, daddy can also get your principal on your
As
phone.
well.
So if anything were to pop off, anything
Yes,
were to happen,
certainly.
so there's a certain level of confidence as well as accountability.
As well.
Because
certainly.
people are looking at you.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
and then you know if you don't do well, then it's like how it reflects on the entire.
Yeah.
It's more weighty.
Yeah.
Correct, yes,
And
certainly,
I also think
certainly.
that parent-teacher relationship is
Definitely
very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Even the child would see it.
Yes, of course,
And-
of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
The moment my father got involved
Yeah.
in my education in secondary school was the moment I started to excel.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
And I'll be very, very honest.
Yeah.
When he started to know my teachers by a
Right,
certain personal relationship, I was
Yeah.
like, no, I
If
can't mess up.
if I had my way, I would want to have the teachers' numbers on speed dial. You know?
I don't know how they feel about that one.
I know. That's being me personal.
Yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah.
But as we begin to wrap up this session, what message would you share for students who may not have gotten the results that they would have hoped for, or who may feel discouraged after?
It's not the end of the world, you know. There's always a second chance. And I would want the student to put his best or her best foot forward and give it another shot. Go for it. The sky's the limit. And of course, if you need additional help, there are avenues and there are measures to seek help and get additional help and go at it again a second time around. And I have known students who, not the first time, but the second time, and they have now excelled and the second time around.
Because we tend to place a lot of weight on how well you do the first time, you know, how well
Yes,
but
exactly.
there's avenues,
Correct. Yeah,
to
they
go
are,
and
they
hit
are.
it again. And then when you get older, you don't have to tell somebody you did CSEC twice or you
No,
did this. You don't have to
exactly,
do that. You can
exactly,
just say,
yeah.
I'm a doctor, I'm a
That's
lawyer,
right,
I'm an
exactly,
engineer,
yeah.
I'm a
The
creative.
certificate here.
Yeah, here look.
Yeah.
So go and do it, yeah.
Exactly.
So for parents watching this morning, how can they begin to prep their students or prep their children for next year's exams?
Well, begin from now. As a matter of fact, if you are doing SEA, you should have begun in first year. But I mean, you know, but even if you are not there at that point in time, there is still about 2 terms for the SEA and 3 terms for the CSEC. You can start from now and still be able to perform well in April and of course May, June. Go for it.
Yeah, and just a little hint of positivity. I was a wretched student in primary school up until like standard 4. I got put in lessons in like standard 5, and I
Look at you
did well
today.
after
Look
that.
at you today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you still have time to work yourself out.
There is.
And
There's
just once
a
you
lot
put
of
your
time.
mind,
Yeah.
once you put your mind to it.
As Jada said that in CSEC for me, I was horrible. For my mock exams, I got my grading was like a U. I've never seen that before. Yeah, that was my mock exam grading, and by the time the exam rolled around, well, obviously. When that happened, it was like, okay, Naomi, time to buck up.
Yeah,
And I was studying, it was lessons, and thank God I had the best lessons teachers ever.
Great.
And and then exams came around, and
It was support generally from your parents.
no, it was, well, it was, to me, it was good enough.
Great.
My mom, she put me into the lessons, but the support, I think,
Great.
from my teachers is what
Okay.
helped me to excel. And it wasn't even my school teachers. It was my lessons teachers
Right,
that
right,
really
right.
kind of pushed it for me, and they made I just
that lessons thing is another story for another time.
I agree. I
we
agree.
We're going to talk about lessons some other time.
Because it can go. Because I firmly believe in lessons and these extra. Because sometimes your teachers they
Right.
get so comfortable.
Right.
And like my school teachers at the point in time.
Yeah.
Yes, they were good.
Yes.
They were supportive
Good,
in
good,
most
good.
cases.
Yeah.
But they also, they I don't want to say. I don't know how to put this. They didn't believe in me as much as my lessons teachers
teacher.
did.
Yeah.
You know, because I guess they would have seen me through the years and
Right.
seen what my pattern would have been
Right.
like. and they were like, oh, Naomi, you have me worried, you know, I don't think you can
Right,
do
right.
it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like,
But
look at what you
lessons
got in
teacher-
marks,
right, yeah.
and you're not gonna pass.
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah,
you know, so
yeah,
they didn't have
yeah,
that
yeah.
belief in me,
Yeah.
but my lessons
Oh,
teachers,
yeah.
not knowing my patterns through the years,
Correct, yeah.
would have more belief
Yeah, yeah.
in
The
me.
responsibility is really that, again, another story for another time.
Yes.
That of the teacher who's being paid
Yeah.
to be able to see you through. But as I said, we'll talk about that some other time.
Like, that's an introduction for another
Yes,
conversation
indeed,
that
indeed,
we'll
indeed.
have coming up. But yeah, how does the association plan to continue representing parents and, you know, having a voice
Yes,
in
yes,
policy
yes.
making as you move forward?
Well, listen, this is our 65th anniversary year, you know. We've been around for the past 65 years, and we have been a voice crying and appealing and advocating for our children. As a matter of fact, we are the largest advocacy organization, backed by an Act of Parliament 1876, and we stand in the support of all our students, 250,000 of them at all levels, and we want to continue to be able to advocate for them so that they would all become worthwhile citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That's our ultimate, really. So that we make Trinidad and Tobago the best nation there is on the planet.
I just want to say I want a PTA for tertiary education. And
Yeah,
you can age cap it if you wish, if you so wish, you can age cap it.
Let's go for it.
Having a PTA for tertiary education, I think would be, it has, I think a lot of planning would have to go
It
into
would have
it
to be, yeah.
because
Because I didn't know
so
adults
that
themselves.
first transition, that
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
like when you just
Yes,
come out of secondary school,
right.
that first,
Yes.
capture that first, what, 3 years, 3 to 5 years,
Yeah,
those
about,
students?
yeah. You
Yeah.
do need the extra support, huh?
Yeah, because those students are sometimes 17, 18, 19,
You
come
are.
on.
Yeah.
I know you think you know what you're doing at 19, but you
still,
really don't. You really don't.
Exactly.
Anyway, there's a whole tangent I want to go off on, and we do not have the time.
Time, certainly.
Again, as I was telling you
Another
before,
story.
if time will,
Yes,
time will
certainly,
permit.
certainly,
Mr.
certainly.
Stewart, thank you for joining
My
us
pleasure,
on EM Prime.
anytime. My pleasure, anytime.
I feel like we need to have a second
Oh, yes, certainly.
conversation
I'm available. Just let me know time and place.
here.
Yes, indeed.
So yes, thank you for sharing your perspective on the CAPE and CSEC results, and then the entire tangent we went off on technology, the role of the parent, the role of the association. So these examinations, they don't only reflect the hard work of students, but also shine a light on the work of the parents as well, and the entire system. So clearly the conversation on how we prepare the next generation must continue. And we'll be following the outcomes of next year, and hopefully we can get the analysis of the
Yes,
results
certainly. We're looking
locally.
forward- Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So yes, I'd be so looking forward to hearing more from you.
Most definitely. The same on this side.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
And the number to contact you on
682-6832. That's the number.
682-6832. And if you're not that adept at writing down numbers really quickly, is there a website or?
Well, we are working on our website, but of course we do have an email. You can reach us at nptatnt@gmail.com, and of course we're on Facebook as well.
Oh, there.
Well, there it is. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot of that, guys. Or a
Please,
picture.
yes.
So thanks again for
My
joining
pleasure.
us, and
Yes,
yes, have a great morning.
The very same, and thanks.
To our viewers, we're just going to take a short break, and we will be right back with you. Stay with us. This is AM Prime on WESN.